Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. For the union makes us strong. We shall never be divided. We shall never be divided. We shall never be divided. For the union makes us strong.
We are therefore demanding that this document is withdrawn and any of its intended actions vacated immediately. Number two, the overreach by the council chair, Professor Mkoa Nangu. Now I want you to understand this. Ever since the appointment of Professor Amukoa Anangwe as the chair of council of the University of Nairobi, the university has experienced the most tumultuous period of bad governance. What litigated his appointment? And the court actually agreed without. It found that he was illegally constituted and appointed as a council, but then strangely, the court also said that they don't want to leave a vacuum at the university, strangely. And I say strangely because by the time it was coming, we have a lot of history where we have stayed even for over 6 months without a council. So they allowed him to serve as chair of council. We have seen a very bizarre situation when the Vice Chancellor designate, Professor Anangwe, has unilaterally and personally penned transfer letters. We will share with you. I want you to see, because we don't want to talk about something as if it's conjecture. We'll share with you. He has extended staff contracts at his own personal whim. He sits in junior interviews, junior internal interviews, so that he can skim off allowances. Operations. Ultimately, it has been an acting capacity. Whereas there are memos which exist from the Chief of Staff and the Head of Public Service showing the separation of powers between council and managers of public institutions. Professor Anangwe has ignored each one of these memos. In fact, Professor Anangwe is on record even calling deans, and we will share with you again that he is calling deans to direct operations of faculties. This is interference beyond what we have ever seen. And for us, we have been asking, if Professor Anangwe wants to be the Vice Chancellor, why can't he apply for that job? Why is he doing the job? Why is he usurping these roles if he is not interested in that job in the first place? This is what we are demanding. That the Education Committee of Parliament move Professor Amukoa Anangwe and his council members for running the University of Nairobi like a kiosk. We also demand that the Cabinet Secretary, Honorable Migos Ogamba, we are also giving warning that we are going to call out to our members any kind of confidence in Professor Anangwe as the council chair of the University of Nairobi. He is part of the problem, and we are saying this to the public, that we will call out our members He left the university when he was appointed by President Moi, and President Moi fired him again over corruption matters. This is on record. I want you to go back to your records and you'll find what we are saying is true. Let him not in any way imagine he's going to run the University of Nairobi down. We will call out our people specifically for Professor Anangwe to go home. We don't want Professor Anangwe. We don't have any confidence in Professor Anangwe. Let him go. Number 3, the non-existent position of the Chief Operations Officer. Now, while the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission has pronounced itself on this matter, there is one gentleman at the university, one Brian Ouma, who occupies a non-existent position of Chief Operations Officer. And it is through the University Council's inaction that he continues to stay. That means the council is abetting this illegality. The Public Service Commission has never created such a position. Nowhere in the universities, public universities in, in Kenya, exists such a position. There's nowhere that position exists in our statutes. We don't have any such position in any university in Kenya. Ask yourself, is it any wonder then that our ranking as University of Nairobi has been plummeting? Bad governance. And you have seen this on record. Our ranking keeps plummeting because of such kind of issues, and specifically for such kind of offices, and specifically also because of such bad governance, Govts. Let the public know this, that their taxes, because this is a public institution being funded by the public, their taxes are actually being used to finance an illegal position, while a rogue council encourages this wastage of public funds. We demand, therefore, an immediate revocation of the Chief Operations Officer position at the University of Nairobi, and we urge the Chief of Staff and Head of Public Service and the Cabinet Secretary, once again, Minister of Education, to take this action against the council which is encouraging this. We also call upon the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission to pronounce itself. Have more bite than backing. Bite, stop backing. Last issue. The advertisement of VC and DVC at the University of Nairobi. In January this year, 21st, the Public Service Commission advertised the position of Vice Chancellor and only one position of Deputy Vice Chancellor in charge of academic affairs. I want you to understand that none of the positions, senior positions in the university have been filled on substantive terms. All of them are active. So they advertised. But now, strangely, here's the strange thing. The position of Deputy Vice Chancellor, Finance and Planning, the position of Deputy Vice Chancellor, Human Resources, the position of Deputy Vice Chancellor, Student Affairs, why were they left out? We want the public to understand this. The positions I've enumerated exist in our statutes. They do. And we want to the public to also understand simple facts. Someone is orchestrating a nefarious act by omitting these 3 Deputy Vice Chancellor positions because they have been collapsed into that Chief Operations Officer position, which is illegal. This is not only manifestly illegal governance maneuvering, it goes against the statutes of the university. And the only beneficiary, ask yourself, the only beneficiary then is that person called Chief Operations Officer, once again. What we are saying is this. Traditionally, senior positions at the university were held by full professors. The masquerade right now operating there as Chief Operations Officer is hardly anyone close to being a full professor. We demand, therefore, that the Public Service Commission should revoke the advertisement that was issued on 21st of January and issues a new advert that will have the known positions of Deputy Vice Chancellors as clearly stated in the University of Nairobi statutes. And such an advert should also not bear any demands. Because if you look at that advert, which I will share with you again, there are demands there that someone must have knowledge of the illegal transformational strategy that was, again, mooted by the Chancellor. Ladies and gentlemen, I want the Fourth Estate, we request the Fourth Estate, please speak out loudly. Help save the University of Nairobi. Councils, chancellors, they come and go. And we have seen them. They come and go. But they leave the staff behind. And the staff only have the University of Nairobi to fall back to. It is that staff, it is the students, and the parents who will suffer irreparable damage if this university is allowed to go down. And we fear that if nothing is done, the University of Nairobi as we know it is dying. Thank you very much. Let me invite the chair so that he can say a word or two before we can go into the Q&A.